In this video, I'm going to show you how to create grid line using Grasshopper and link it to our Tekla structure. So first, let's have this presentation, and we're going to discuss first the elements in Grasshopper, the basic elements that we can use later. First of all, we have these steel beams, column, concrete beams, slabs, cut and fittings, and also the grids. And the basic Grasshopper elements command, we have these points wherein you have the X coordinates, Y coordinates, and Z coordinates. You have the lines connecting the start and end point. You have the geometry move. This one is something like similar to our copy command. And we have the slider. Slider is something like it makes our distance more parametric using this number slider. Another elements here are the factor X, Y, and Z. So this one to be used later when we use the construct points. And since our topic for today is to create the grid, then we can use our grid elements in Grasshopper canvas. We can also use our mathematical operations like additions, subtraction, multiplication, and so on. But I think at this example, we can use the addition operation. Okay, the first thing to do is you open the Tekla Structure software first. If you have the 2019i, then you open the Tekla Structure using this icon. Then after opening the Tekla Structure, you can now open the Rhino software. So this will be the Rhino application. And in Rhino, you can just simply type in the command this Grasshopper, and you will have the Grasshopper canvas shown in your screen. And we can start our modeling in our Grasshopper now. So the first thing to do is we add the construction point, and then from the construction point you will see these icons, and also you can now put that construct point in your canvas, and then automatically it will show you this construct point or construction point. Okay, and then the next thing is copy the construct point. You can now add the slider to the copied construction point. Okay, so now you have 2 points. Okay, so the first point that we have created, this one on 0, 0, 0, and then the next point is at the location of 0, 1000, 0. So 1000 is using the slider, and then I link that one to the Y coordinates. So basically, to copy this construct point, it's either you click again the icon construct point, or you can just simply select the construct point and then Control C and then Control V. So this one is the slider, and then you have the first point, and then you have the second point. Now we need to add the line between these 2 points. So to add the line between these 2 points, so from your point A and point B, so we can again double click the canvas and then type line, and then link the points to the start point and end point. So here we're going to link this point A to start and point B to the end. And the Rhino model will have this line between 2 points now. Now, we need to duplicate the line to X direction. So again, we need to double click the canvas and type move. So once you type the move, then it will show you this move element here, or move object. And this move again is what I mentioned earlier. This one is something like a copy command in Grasshopper. So link the line to geometry. So the first line you link to the geometry, and then the motion is the direction of the line. So this motion is the direction of the line. So we need to add a unit X to the motion, and then we can also add a slider to unit X. So we can control the position of our X direction. So note, the move command in Grasshopper or GH is equivalent to the copy command. So there you go. So you can see all the links, and you have this line. Now, the next thing to do is we have now the grid 1, grid 2, and now for grid 3 and grid 4, we can just simply copy the unit X, the slider, and then the move command. So these 3 items here, we need to select this one, shift key, and then select these 3. And then you can control C and then control V. You can do that one twice, thrice, or more. It depends on how many grid lines you want to create. And then link the output geometry to the input geometry. So from the first move, you link that one to the input of the second move command. Use the slider to choose the desired distance of line. So these are the sliders. And then this distance is according to the slider's value. Now, we must repeat the procedure, and this time you need to copy everything and then paste that one. And this time we need to use the X factor to the motion of the geometry. So from the X, so we need to change that one to the Y, so that it will be on the other side of the or the other line, or the other coordinates of the grid line. And in Rhino model, you will find this X and Y coordinates now. So, but the thing is, the last point of the Y coordinates and the last point of the X coordinate doesn't match to the X and Y lines, or X and Y grid lines. So enable for us to match that one, we need to remove the slider, we need to delete the slider, and then we need to sum up the X slider and the Y slider, and then we need to link that one to our Y and X coordinates. So to follow the endpoint of the X and Y coordinates, we need to use the mathematical operation. So to use addition and then add all the X slider and Y slider to get the total length of each line. So link the total X and Y to the X and Y of the construct point. So in the next slide, you will see how this one will be linked. So this one is the X point, or the X coordinates, or sorry, the Y coordinates, and this one is the X coordinates. And then this is the one that I mentioned earlier. Okay, let's go back again to the previous slide. So here, use addition and add all the slider X and slider Y. Okay, so the next slide. So this one is the slider X, 1, 2, 3. So we link that one to the addition ABC, and then the Y will be in ABC as well. So just look onto this one. So once you link all the slider and then you sum up the value, then you need to link now the result to the X coordinates and the result of Y to the Y coordinates on the point A and point B. So you can see on the right side, this will be the output of that particular linking. So now the endpoint of X coordinate and endpoint of Y coordinates also matches the grid line. Okay, so now we have created the lines. We have 3 points, and then we have created the lines. Now, enable for us to create the points on that intersecting line. So we need to use our multiple curve. So you just double click the canvas again and then just type multiple, and then you will see the multiple curve. So this multiple curve, it will get, or it will add the points to those intersecting line, and then you can gather all these points. Whenever the lines is intersected, then you will get the points. So enable for you to do that one. So from this line, from the line in your object line and in your move geometry line, so we need to link that one to the curve. So enable for you to link that one to one curve, because if you move that one by one, so whatever the last linking, that will be shown only. Okay, so enable for you to link all of these lines and geometry move. So you need to use the shift key, press the shift key, and then link one by one. So you will have these multiple lines in the curve. And then once you link all these line, you will able to see all these points on this intersecting lines in your Rhino. And that's it. So you have now the grid lines that you can control with the slider. And then all you have to do is to open the Tekla Structure 2019 tab, which is this one, and then add grid. So here you just click grid. So once you link the points to the grid points here, automatically you open the when you open the Tekla Structure, then you will see the output of the grid here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to the grasshopper and to the Tekla Structure to repeat this procedure that I have discussed using these slides. Okay, so now we start opening the Tekla Structure, and then after you open the Tekla Structure, as I've mentioned, you can now open the Rhino, and then under the Rhino you just type the grasshopper here, and then open the grasshopper. All right, so you have now the grasshopper, the Rhino, and then the Tekla Structure. So for the meantime, we're going to minimize the Tekla Structure and then work on the grasshopper first. Okay, the first thing to do is to add the points. So here, this is our Rhino model, and this is the grasshopper canvas. Just double click, and then you just simply type the points, or sorry, you can just simply type construct, and then look for the construct point. So you have now, once you add this construct point, you will notice that this point will appear in the Rhino. Okay, so this is the construct point, and then if you control C, control V, then you can copy the points. So because we copied that one, the point is on the same position. And the other way of copying is no need for you to pick the control C, control V. Just simply click this one, click the point, and then press Alt, and then you can duplicate that construct point. Now, enable for us to add the slider. So you can double click again, and then you type here slider. Okay, number slider, and then you put it here. So for the number slider, maybe we'll just simply move that one a little bit away. Okay, so from this slider, you can just double click, and then you can specify, let's say you want this one to be integer, and then the minimum, let's say 1000 is the minimum value, and the maximum value is 10,000. So it depends on how you want to, what value you want to put here. And then let's say here 1000. Look, if I link this one to my Y direction, look what will happen. So there you go. So I have now this 1000 value. So the slider works if I increase this one, so it moves. But again, the limit of 1000, or maybe I can change the limit. Instead of 1000, I can type 500. So I can move to 500. Okay. Alright, maybe let's leave it as it is for the meantime. Or you can also type here, let's say 1000. So you have now this 1000. Alright, Next is we're going to add now a line between these 2 points. So again, this one is point A. So if I select this point, it becomes, it highlights. Actually, you can rename this one instead of construction point. You can just simply type here point A, and then this one is, it will be point B. So you can always rename that one if you like. So from here, I can just simply type again from the double click again the canvas and then type line. So select this line. So I have the start point and then the end point. So from here, I'll just simply link that one to the start point and then link the point B to the end point, and then you have now the line. Okay, as simple as that. Of course, you will not see anything in the Tekla structure yet, because this one is just something like a construction point and the construction line. Okay, next, we need to copy now the line, okay, to the X direction. So this one, this line is on the Y coordinates, and then we need to copy to the X direction. Enable for us to copy that one, we just simply type here move. So here, the geometry is here. By default, the geometry motion is on the 0, 0, and 10, meaning it is a 10 millimeter on the ground going to the Z direction. But we need to change that one to Y, so to X. So enable for us to do that one, just simply type here X. So you use the unit X, and then from here, from this unit X, I can just simply type again the slider, let's say 1000. If you type 1000, automatically there will be a slider, but of course you can always change that one, or you can just simply select this one and then, you can simply select, press Alt, and then this one, link that one to the factor, and then this one, link this one to the motion, and look what will happen. So now I have already the X direction. So let's say, for example, I will put this one on the maximize 10 meters. So now I have this direction. So let's say 4 meters. So now I have these two grid line. Okay, so I have the geometry, I have the unit factor X, and then this one is the slider. So if I'm okay with this one, all I have to do is just simply select these three and then Alt or press and then Alt key. So I have this one 1, and then here this output geometry of move, you need to change that one from the first one so that it will copy additional line here. Okay, so all I have to do is then change the value here. So as you can see here, as I change, so you can decide what is the size of the or the distance of your grid line from the other grid line. Okay, again, Control C, or just simply press and then press Alt key, and there you go. So again, I'm going to select this geometry and put that one to the input geometry on the third line, and then I have now the 3 lines. Okay, so you just simply repeat the procedure as many as you like. That one depends on how many grid lines you have. But at this point of time, we'll just use something like, we'll just create a 4 grids, okay, grid lines. And then the next thing to do is just simply copy everything, okay. Okay, this one is the point, this one is the 0, 0, 0, and then this one is the 10,000 mark, Y direction. So all we have to copy now is these parts, okay, copy and then paste. So I'm going to put it here. Okay, but this time I'm going to change this unit vector X to unit vector Y. So just double click and then type Y and then select the unit Y. So this one, I can just replace this one with this Y, and there you go, and then delete this. And also this one should be on the X direction, and then here I need to disconnect this number slider. Okay, so now it will be on the X direction. Okay, so change the unit X to unit Y, and then here another thing, delete this one and then just type here Y. Okay, link and link. Oh, sorry. Okay, so that's the third one, and then lastly this one, delete, and then double click again, then you type Y, and then link this one to the motion, and then link this one to the slider to the factor, and there you go. So as you notice here, it doesn't match to the endpoint of the X point and Y point. So as I've mentioned in my slide, so we need to do some mathematical operation here. So in this case, maybe I'll just simply decrease this one first, decrease this one, and decrease this. And then here, this one decrease, slider, and there you go. But still, it's not matching to that point. So enable for us to match, so we need to create the addition. Okay, so go to the maths, and then here there's an operation, click addition. So just simply click here, put here, and then in addition you can add A, B, and then if you have more, you can just simply click the plus sign, plus. Okay, so you can sum up more values here. But if you have only 3, then all you have to do is just simply put the minus sign. Okay, so the first thing is the first slider. So 1, 2, oh sorry, A, and then B, and then C. So the result of this one, you will see it's 9,446. So this one, we need to link this one to here, to the X. And there you go. So as you notice here, it's 0. The line already matched the endpoint of the X direction. And then you just repeat the procedure, double click, or just simply click here, plus, and then plus again. So this time I'm going to match the slider of this, of the X, to A, B, and C. And then this one, I need to link that one to the Y, and that's it. And these two slider I don't need anymore. So this is the what do you call that, the control on how you match all these endpoint to the grid lines of X and Y direction. Okay, so now the next thing to do is we have to add the points to those intersecting lines in our canvas or in our model in Rhino. So enable for us to do that one. So we need to gather this multiple curve. So to do that one, all you have to do is to double click on the canvas again, and then you type here multiple, and then you can see here multiple curve. So in this case, you're going to gather all the lines in one curve, and then you will create the points on that intersecting lines. Okay, so again, as I mentioned earlier, so click this line and then put that one on the curve, and then this geometry line put on the curve. But look what will happen. So the first line that I picked was banished because it always used the last link that you do. But if you just simply press the shift key and then link that one, so you will able to combine all these lines. Okay, so that I'm just linking all the y coordinates line, and then enable for us to add the points. So we can link again the press the shift key and then link the curve. So you will see now it creates the points on that intersecting y and X direction, and the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. Okay, so there you go. So you have now link all these lines and then created the points on that one. So the reason why we create that one, so that we will able to get these points, okay, these defined values or locally defined values. So this one are the intersection events, and then this point is the one that we're going to link in our grid. Okay, so this is the last thing that we need to do, is to add the grid. So going back to the Tekla 2019i, and then go to the edit and then click the grid, and there you go. So you can see here the points. This is the input, and then this is the output. Okay, look, so once I in my Tekla structure, so here maybe what I will do is I will just simply put this Rhino behind. Okay, and now open the Tekla structure. Okay, so this is the Tekla structure. So look, for the meantime, this is the default grid line. So once I link this point to this grid line point here, okay, so look what will happen. So it will create now the additional grid line. So I can delete the default grid line, and then I can now modify this new grid line. So you will notice here, once I create the slider, so let's say here, so I move the slider here, so I can change now the grid line. Okay, so this is how you create the grid line using our grasshopper link to our Tekla structure. Okay, thank you very much.